Welcome back, everyone. We've got another fascinating deep dive ahead of us today. You brought some really insightful questions about Signature Global,
Yeah,
and we've got a whole mountain of materials to explore. We've got the press release, of course.
right.
We've got investor presentations and even the nitty-gritty financials. So we're really going to roll up our sleeves and get into the details of these Q2 FY25 results.
Absolutely. I think it's always so much more insightful to, peel back the layers and see what's really going on.
Especially with a company like this one, Signature Global. They're making some serious waves in the Indian real estate market,
For sure.
really focusing on the Delhi NCR region.
Yeah, and it's interesting, that whole area, they've got a really dynamic market going on there.
You're particularly interested in whether they can actually keep up this momentum, right? I mean, their sales numbers are through the roof.
It's remarkable, yeah.
217% year-over-year growth in the first half of FY25.
Yeah, that's impressive.
We're talking about INR 59 billion, fueled by these big, exciting new projects like Titanium SPR and Daxon Vistas.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating to me is that they're not just sticking to one lane. They started out strong in affordable housing, but they're strategically branching out now, tapping into this growing demand for, more premium mid-income properties.
So they're kind of riding this wave of growth in a strategic way. But why Gurugram, though? What
Yeah.
makes that market so hot right now?
Well, a few things, really. Gurugram, it's got a lot going for it. A booming IT sector, great connectivity to Delhi, and they've been investing heavily in infrastructure.
Right.
So that's naturally attracting a younger crowd, more affluent buyers, people with disposable income who are looking for like modern, high-quality living spaces.
So it's not just speculation driving this demand, it's actual people who want to live there.
Exactly, yeah. And they call it resilient end user demand, which basically means people are buying these properties to actually live in, not just as investments, which creates a much more stable market.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. It's not just a bubble about to burst.
Right.
Now let's dig into the financials a bit. That revenue jump of 650% in Q2, that's got to raise some eyebrows.
Oh, yeah, 650%. That's definitely eye-catching.
We're talking about INR 7.5 billion.
Yeah, but there's a reason for it, right? Remember, they've been dealing with a lot of delays, COVID disruptions, those NGT bans, things that really slowed down construction.
Yeah, makes sense.
Now those projects are finally getting finished, so all that revenue is hitting their books basically all at once. It's a good sign, actually.
So it's not just some accounting trickery.
No, not at all. It shows that things are getting back on track.
Okay, good. So it's like all that hard work is finally paying off.
Yeah.
And I guess that also explains why their collections are up by a healthy 60% as well, INR 21.3 billion.
Exactly, yeah. And strong collections, that's what gives them the cash flow to keep investing in new projects.
Yeah, keep that momentum going.
Yes, that's the key.
Now, speaking of those new projects, it seems like they're really focusing on specific pockets within Gurugram. It's not just a scattergun approach, is it?
Oh, no, not at all. They've zeroed in on three key areas: Sector 71, the Sona Corridor, and Sector 37D. And each one kind of caters to a different segment with its own price point and lifestyle.
So it's about really understanding those nuances, each location.
Exactly. They're tailoring their offerings to fit the specific needs and desires of those different buyers.
I like that. So give us a glimpse of what they're offering in each of these areas. What's really making a splash?
Well, in Sector 71, they've got this premium product called Titanium SPR, and it's seen incredible demand. People who are looking for that high-end, luxurious experience are really drawn to it.
Titanium. Yeah, that sounds pretty fancy.
Then, in the Sona Corridor, they're developing their first township, Daxon Vistas. This is a massive undertaking.
Township, wow.
It's not just homes. They're incorporating residential, commercial, even industrial spaces. It's really creating a self-contained community.
That's ambitious. It's like building a mini city.
It is. They're really thinking long-term.
I like that. What about Sector 37D? What's happening over there?
That's an interesting one. Sector 37D is attracting a lot of young professionals because it's right near the Dwarka Expressway, which makes commuting to Delhi a breeze.
Okay. Location, right.
Exactly. And they just launched a project there that saw an incredible 5.4x application rate.
Wait, what does that mean?
It means that for every available unit, there were over 5 people trying to buy it.
Wow, that's huge. So they're definitely doing something right to generate that kind of excitement.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
And I guess they're also benefiting from those major infrastructure projects you mentioned earlier, like the Dwarka Expressway.
Oh, absolutely. Signature Global is really smart about leveraging these infrastructure developments. They're creating homes that are not only desirable in themselves, but they're also in these prime locations with great connectivity.
So they're thinking about the whole package, the lifestyle.
Exactly. It's not just about the property itself, it's about the bigger picture.
I like that. And, another thing that stands out to me, they're really emphasizing sustainability.
Oh, for sure. And all projects launched since FY20, they're either EDGE or IGBC certified.
Now, for those of us who don't speak real estate, what does that actually mean?
Good point. Basically, these certifications, they're like a stamp of approval. They mean these buildings are designed and constructed with the environment in mind in an eco-friendly way.
Okay, so it's not just greenwashing, it's the real deal.
Exactly. And for you, as a potential homeowner, that means lower utility bills, a healthier place to live, and knowing you're contributing to a greener future.
It's a win-win for everyone.
Absolutely.
Now, let's circle back to their financials for a moment. Their net debt is down to INR 10.1 billion, which sounds pretty healthy, right?
Yeah, it's a really positive sign. It shows they're managing their money well, prioritizing long-term stability, and they're very disciplined about it.
Okay, so they're not just growing recklessly.
No, they've got a target. Keep their net debt below half of their projected operating surplus. And with an operating surplus of INR 8.1 billion in the first half of FY25, they're right on track.
It's a responsible growth.
Mhm.
I like it. But how are they actually managing to deliver all these projects so efficiently? Their portfolio is massive. 15.8 million square feet ongoing and another 25.4 million in the pipeline. That's a lot of square footage.
Well, that's where their secret weapon comes in technology. They've really embraced technology in a way that's transforming how they do business.
Oh, no, this is where I get excited. Tell me more about this tech angle.
Okay, so they streamlined everything from buying land to construction to sales, and they're using innovative tech at every step.
They're not afraid to be cutting edge.
Not at all. And this allows them to turn around projects much faster, which is crucial in a fast-paced market like this.
Right, time is money, especially in real estate. So they're not just building homes, they're building this tech-powered real estate machine.
Yeah.
Give me some examples. How are they actually using this technology to, make a difference?
Okay, well, for one, they were really early adopters of digital sales platforms.
Smart.
Like, think about it. They had projects that were 100% digitally sold.
Wow, that's pretty ahead of the curve.
It was, yeah. And this let them reach a much wider audience, streamline the sales process, and of course, reduce those overhead costs.
Makes sense. Cuts out the middleman.
Exactly. And it really aligns with the kind of tech-savvy buyers they're targeting anyway.
Right, right. Makes perfect sense. So it's not just about sales, though, right? They're using technology in the construction process itself.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're using this technology called aluminum formwork.
Aluminum formwork, what is that exactly?
Think of it like giant Lego blocks for buildings.
Okay, I like Legos.
Right, so they're prefabricated components that they can assemble quickly and efficiently on site. So instead of building everything from scratch, piece by piece.
Oh, so it's like a modular approach.
Exactly.
Makes things so much faster.
Exactly, and that's a big part of how they're able to deliver these projects so quickly.
It's like they've cracked the code for faster, more efficient construction. And this tech, does it impact the quality at all, or is it just about speed?
No, it actually improves quality too, because these aluminum forms create much more precise and durable structures.
So it's a win-win. Better quality, faster construction.
Exactly. Which means, ultimately, better homes for the buyers.
I like it. Now, let's dive back into the financials for a sec. The press release mentions a reduction in net debt, down to INR 10.1 billion.
Yeah, it's down.
That's got to be a good sign, right? Less debt is usually a good thing.
It is. It's a very good sign. It means they're being responsible, prioritizing long-term stability.
They're not just spending like crazy to grow.
Right. And remember, their goal is to keep that net debt below half of their projected operating surplus. And with an operating surplus of 8.1 billion in the first half of FY25, they're right on target.
So they're not just growing rapidly, they're growing sustainably.
Exactly. And that healthy cash flow, it gives them more flexibility to invest in future growth,
They're not beholden to the banks. They've got their own money to play with.
Right, exactly. And it gives them the freedom to make these bold moves, like expanding into these township developments.
Right, which are a whole different animal, right?
Yeah.
Tell me more about these townships, like this Daxon Vistas project. What makes them so different from their, their bread and butter projects.
Well, townships are on a completely different scale. We're not just talking about individual apartments or homes anymore.
It's like a whole ecosystem.
It is. It's like a mini city within a city. They're creating these integrated communities with residential, commercial, industrial components all in one place.
Wow. So it's not just about construction, it's about community building, creating a whole new world. It's a
Exactly.
massive undertaking. I mean, are they really up for this challenge?
Well, I think their track record speaks for itself, you know. They've consistently delivered projects on time and within budget, even with all the challenges like the NGT bans and the COVID
You've been
disruptions.
through a lot.
They have. So it's clear they've got a very disciplined and efficient approach to project management.
Okay, that's reassuring. But these township projects, they require a different kind of expertise, right? I mean, it's not just about putting up buildings.
Oh, you're absolutely right. It's about creating a community, you know, a whole ecosystem. It's a whole different ballgame.
So are they like bringing in new people,
Yeah.
new talent?
They are, yeah. They've been building a team with the experience to lead these complex projects. They've brought in industry veterans like their CEO, who has a ton of experience from big firms.
So they're not just relying on their existing team, they're bringing in the big guns.
Right. And their COO as well, who has a strong background in construction and planning. So, yeah, they're bringing in the best and brightest.
Okay, that's good to hear. So they're not just resting on their laurels, they're proactively building the team they need to succeed. But they also need to make sure those sales teams are up to speed, right? I mean, they need to be able to effectively target these different types of buyers, especially as they move into more premium segments.
Oh, for sure. But they're already doing that. Remember that 5.4x application rate for their premium project in Sector 37D? That shows they know how to generate excitement and attract those higher-end buyers.
Right. They're adapting their sales strategies.
They are, yeah. They're not just using a one-size-fits-all approach.
So it seems like they've got a lot going for them. A strong brand, a smart financial approach, a proven track record, and a forward-thinking leadership team. But no business is perfect, right? What are some potential hurdles they might face?
Well, the real estate market, it's cyclical, you know. There are always going to be ups and downs. That's just the nature of the game.
Right. You can't always predict what's going to happen.
Exactly. And things like rising interest rates, government policy changes, new competitors entering the market, those could all create headwinds.
And let's not forget the bigger picture. Global economic slowdowns, geopolitical instability, even climate change, those things can impact the Indian real estate market, and there's nothing Signature Global can do about it.
That's true. Those are all factors beyond their control. But what's encouraging is that they've shown they can adapt. They weathered those NGT bans, they navigated the COVID disruptions, and they transitioned smoothly from affordable housing to a more diversified portfolio. So they're resilient.
That's a good sign. They're not afraid of a challenge.
Right. But as they continue to grow and expand into new areas, they'll need to be even more vigilant,
Huh.
about managing risks and anticipating those market shifts.
Stay agile, stay flexible.
Exactly. Staying ahead of the curve means keeping a close eye on those industry trends, watching their financial performance like a hawk, and being ready to adjust their strategy when they need to.
So adaptability is key.
It is. And their embrace of technology, I think that gives them a real advantage there.
Right. They're not just keeping up with the digital world, they're leading the charge.
Exactly. Digital sales, those efficient construction techniques like aluminum formwork, a data-driven approach to decision-making, these things give them an edge over their competitors.
Makes them more nimble.
Exactly. But technology is only as good as the people using it, right? So they need to keep investing in training their team.
Yeah, keep them up to speed on the latest and greatest.
Right. It's about having a team that's not just tech savvy, but also understands the real estate market inside and out. And they seem to get that. They've talked about building a culture of learning, which is so important for attracting and retaining top talent.
Yeah, because the talent pool is shrinking. Everyone's fighting for the best people.
That's right. And amidst all this tech, they can't forget the human element, right?
Yeah.
Building those customer relationships is still crucial.
Especially as they get bigger, you don't want to lose that personal touch.
Exactly. And that's where their investment in customer relationship management, those CRM systems, really comes in. These tools allow them to personalize interactions, track customer preferences, really create a seamless experience.
So it's about scaling up without losing that personal touch. I like that.
It is. Striking that balance between efficiency and empathy, technology, and human interaction.
That's the sweet spot.
It is.
So it seems like Signature Global has a lot of moving parts to manage, but they've got a good plan, a clear vision for the future.
They do, yeah. But the real estate market, it's unpredictable. There will always be challenges, but also new opportunities.
You got to be ready for anything.
Exactly. And Signature Global, they seem to have that foresight, that agility to navigate whatever comes their way.
One thing that really stands out to me, and I think it speaks to their long-term vision, is their commitment to sustainability.
Oh, yeah, for
It's
sure.
not just a marketing thing, it's part of their DNA.
I agree. And it's becoming increasingly important to buyers, especially younger generations. They're looking for homes that align with their values.
Right. It's not just about saving money on your bills anymore. It's about making responsible choices. And Signature Global seems to get that. Solar panels, efficient water management systems, they're walking the walk.
They are.
So they're not just building homes, they're building a legacy.
They are. And it's built on quality, innovation, and a real commitment to creating value for their customers and the community.
But it's not just about the buildings themselves, right? It's about the people who live in them, the communities they form.
Exactly. Signature Global understands that real estate is about more than just bricks and mortar. It's about creating spaces where people can thrive.
Where life happens.
Right, where communities flourish, where people feel a sense of belonging.
That's a pretty inspiring vision.
It is.
Yeah.
Because when you create spaces that are well-designed, well-built, and environmentally sustainable, you're not just building homes, you're building a better future.
Yeah, it really is inspiring to see a company that gets it. That's not just about the bottom line, but about making a real difference.
It's refreshing, isn't it?
It is. And you're right, it's about so much more than just the buildings. It's about the lifestyle, the sense of community, those sustainable practices they're weaving into everything they do.
And they're paying attention to the details too, like their use of that aluminum formwork technology we talked about.
Right. It's not just a fancy buzzword. It has a real impact.
It does, yeah. Faster, more efficient construction, stronger, more durable structures.
Exactly. And, they could have just stuck with the old ways of doing things,
Traditional methods, yeah.
but they're not afraid to innovate, are they?
Not at all. And you see that same forward-thinking approach in their digital strategy too.
Yeah, it's like they've gone all in on technology. From sales and marketing to project management and customer service, it's everywhere.
They've created this really seamless digital ecosystem, and it's clearly working. I mean, look at their sales figures.
59 billion in sales bookings. Just in the first half of FY25, that's incredible.
It is. It's remarkable. But they're not just chasing growth for growth's sake. They're doing it responsibly.
Right, that financial discipline is key.
Absolutely. They're not over-leveraging themselves, not taking on too much debt.
Keeping that net debt under control, that's smart.
It is. And it gives them the flexibility to really think long-term.
Yeah, it's like they're building a solid foundation for the future.
Exactly. And their focus on specific micro-markets within Gurugram, that's another example of their strategic thinking.
Right, they're not just building anywhere and everywhere.
They're being very selective. Sector 71, the Sona Corridor, Sector 37D, each one has its own unique appeal.
They're doing their homework, understanding what each area needs.
Exactly. They're tailoring their offerings to those specific markets, those specific buyers.
It's about being in the right place at the right time with the right product.
That's the key, yeah. And then you've got their move into township developments. That's a whole other level of ambition.
A whole new ball game.
It is. But they've got the experience, the team, and the technology to make it happen.
I think so too. But, let's bring it back to our listener for a second. Why should they care about Signature Global's success?
That's a great question. It's easy to get lost in the numbers, but ultimately this is a story about people, about creating value, about shaping the future of urban living.
It is, yeah. It's a story about innovation, about a homegrown company that's really making a mark.
An Indian company that's setting a new standard, And their journey, it shows what's possible with hard work, ingenuity, and adaptability.
They haven't been afraid to evolve, have they? From affordable housing to mid-income and premium segments, and now these massive townships, they just keep pushing forward.
Exactly. And they're showing that even in a traditional industry like real estate, technology can be a game changer.
They're proving that you can be both high-tech and high-touch.
Right. So what's the one thing you'd want our listener to remember about Signature Global?
I think it's that they're not just building homes, they're building a better future.
I like that. And they're doing it the right way, with a commitment to quality, innovation, and sustainability.
Creating value for everyone involved.
Exactly. It's a powerful story.
It is. Well, on that note, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. We've really delved into the heart of Signature Global.
We have, yeah. It's been a fascinating deep dive.
But before we go, we want to leave you with one last thought. As Signature Global continues on this incredible journey, what role will they play in shaping the future of urban living in India? It's something to think about as we watch them grow and see the impact they have on the communities they serve. Thanks for joining us today at